Good evening and welcome to another edition of Vox Populi. I know some of you have been asking what Vox Populi means, and it really means it's Latin for the popular voice of the people. But popularity and the popularity of the people's voice is not necessarily a good thing, because you would recall, of course, the very popular voice admonishing and advocating to Pilate to crucify Christ and to return to their fold the man Barabbas. So, but in this instance, Vox Populi in its purest sense really means the voice of the people. And that is what this forum, this platform is all about. Having said that, we are joined tonight by two other intellectuals. So you have two intellectuals and a pseudo-intellectual. So I am the pseudo, right? So you have two intellectuals. And a pseudo-intellectual. I am the pseudo. But I just want to say a very good evening to my number one fan, and that is my 10 months old baby girl, Tyra. I know she's looking on. I think I've already seen her mother messaging me that she just jumping up and down the chair shouting, da 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 da. So she's my number one fan, but I'll also tell you something. This is a show, right, baby girl, but as you grow older, I'll discourage you very much from getting involved in politics, because politics is an environment of people that could be deceptive and nasty, and politics generally could be brutish, mean, and short. Having said that, you know, I just want to say this before I introduce my friends here with me tonight. A gentleman pointed out to me walking on the streets there very recently, this evening, sometime earlier before I came here. He said, I want to give you some homework. I said, what is that? He said, go in the dictionary and look for the meaning of politics. I said, why should I do it? He said, because politics is very vague. So I guess that explains the behavior of politicians. They're vague. You see the boys that girls that break into your home, steal your car, pick your pockets and so. They are hustlers. They are in the same bracket like politicians generally. Politicians are tricksters and hustlers. And that is why, ultimately, it is the magnanimous and magnitude of the voices of the population that keeps politicians in check. And that is what this platform is about. So joining me tonight is Dr. Shane Mohammed, no stranger to you, and certainly no stranger to me. Shane and I have been friends and colleagues for the past, 20 years?
More than that.
More than that. In fact, it would be true to say that me and Shane had done two significant things for this country. One was putting a government in office.
Correct.
And the other one was selecting a president for this country.
Yes.
Notwithstanding that we had difference of opinion, he backed Carmona and I was all for MacLeod. I remember when the collective decision was taken and everybody said, okay, now that we agree, I asked him, who is the we? Who is the we? I didn't agree to that, but time will tell. So Shane is not only an intellectual with a PhD, but known to you, Shane have been in the administrative and leadership trenches of the governance of this country for a significant period of his life. Shane, welcome.
Thank you.
And
so
of
much.
course, we no stranger to you, our very own here in Tobago, Max James, a former assemblyman, secretary for labor, trade unionist, intellectual, and so politician. You weren't one of those I was describing earlier on.
Because I was going to ask you about that.
No, you're not one of those. You're not one of those. So, gentlemen, good evening and welcome.
Thank you very
much.
The subject matter this evening is related to the dog in the big kennel. And those are not my description. Those are not my descriptions. There was some tit for tat between the both political, well, in this case, not political, sorry, but between the both administrative governance methods between Tobago and Trinidad. And one leader described himself, in fact, he said, is not the It's not the dog you vote for, something to that effect. It is the size of the kennel. Tonight, I have invited you here, gentlemen, with me, for us to internalize that, break it down, and interpret that statement. I have my interpretation, but you want to start, Shane?
It's the quality of the dog. And the breed of the dog we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we could be talking about a Patong, a Pompek, a Mastiff, a Pit Bull, or we could be talking about a mangy dog that is on its deathbed.
Producer, you want to have a shoot at it, Max? You want to have a shoot at it?
When I was doing labor history,
Yes.
I had a lecturer, and he was saying it's better to have a half-dead trade unionist than none at all. So, whatever dog you want to put in the kennel, we go find out whether it's half-dead or whether this kennel is a beautiful place to put that dog. Because not all dogs would want to stay in a kennel.
Correct.
So, that may be.
Let's hear the Prime Minister.
And I don't care who you choose as your top dog in this country. The size of the kennel is what matters. And I don't care who you choose as your top dog in this country. The size of the kennel is what matters.
I view, gentlemen, that when we say, I don't care who you choose as your top dog. In other words, you didn't vote for my guy. You voted for your top dog. But it's the size of the kennel that matters. And I'm submitting what the Prime Minister is saying here is that, notwithstanding what political decisions you all made in Tobago, I like the woman in Roxborough. Do we have a clip of her? There was a woman, I don't know, I just love her. The woman that say, that who they send up here to go up? Well, we know not in this Roxborough here. I love her, just like she wore type straight. Well, the Prime Minister is saying, not in this Trinidad and Tobago. He occupies
The top dog position.
because
No, the biggest kennel.
it is the biggest kennel. Now, the big larger your kennel, the more dogs it can hold.
Of course.
The larger the
On the
kennel
larger
also
the
depends
larger
on the size of the dog that you put in the kennel.
Because you can't put an Alsatian in a small kennel.
No,
you might
exactly.
put a
So,
you might put a pump,
but you see,
pump there.
there's a way to triangulate what politicians mean. Now, first of all, gentlemen, you could disagree, agree, but these are my thoughts. That statement was not made for any Tobagonian. That statement was not made to the THA. That statement was made to the finances of the Prime Minister and his supporters, because he has to give them some impetus. Because here you, that is not me teacher, folks, that is a dynamite or something. That is not any teacher or anything, that's a dynamite or something, right? Right, so here you had the PNM and its leader losing outright a significant amount of seats in Tobago. For all intent and purposes, all. Yeah? For all intent and purposes, all.
Yes.
And now he's in a local election, which we're going to discuss in the show. He has to give his people some hope and thing too, You have to tell them.
Well, of course.
So he's trying to say, it doesn't matter the top dog that was elected, the size of the kennel. So he's saying, in my respect, you remember in triangulating it, you remember the story of we will let go the dogs of war upon them. And I suspect he read that material. Because that statement he made is not a unique statement.
It has been made before. That's
It has been made before. In fact, it has been made by Winston Churchill. That said, it doesn't matter who is the top dog. It's the size of the kennel.
So
Churchill made that statement.
What did Churchill mean by that?
Churchill too borrowed from hate him or love him. He was actually one of my favorite characters to read about. Joseph Stalin.
Yes.
Right.
Remember in Russia,
Right.
they had the blue shirts.
Yes.
Right.
And Joseph Stalin is the mastermind of letting loose the agencies of the state upon his opponent.
Right, because he used the state apparatus
Yes.
to eliminate his opposers.
His opponents.
And he was the top dog.
He was the top dog.
And anytime somebody
And-
came along,
and-
perhaps what Putin is doing as well here today.
Because Putin has a module to follow.
Right.
I'm trying to remember what they just call the centralized power in
Kremlin?
The
Kremlin.
Kremlin.
Right.
So the Kremlin, when you do the research, the Kremlin is referred to by the Western leaders and intelligence agencies as the big kennel.
Okay.
But
What is it?
any leader in a democratic society that is emulating the words of Stalin is
Needs help.
and you are saying needs help, but I am saying is taking us and taking any nation, any people, any population down a very dangerous pathway and a very dangerous philosophy. And anybody who wants to talk about Stalin, because Stalin in political theory does not represent anything that is politically positive.
No, he doesn't.
He does not. And Stalin comes all the way down. It trickles down, as you rightfully say, to present day regarding anybody who follows the philosophy of Stalin and Lenin and others, right?
Yeah.
So,
Now, some trade unionists may disagree with you, eh? Particularly since trade unionism come from the bowels of the thoughts of Lenin and Marx and these guys. Eh?
Even Marx and Lenin and the whole concept of trade unionism has its space and place in political theory and practice.
Of course it does.
And therefore, there's a role and responsibility that is outlined in political theory for trade unionism. However, if a prime minister is talking about top dog and the size of the kennel, which one would I prefer? The size of the kennel or the quality of the dog? And my respectful view is that I will go, any right-thinking person will go for the quality of the dog.
Quality of the dog, yeah.
Right? Because the quality of the dog will either protect you.
Well, I just got to make that point, because the quality of the dog will depend on its fitness for purpose.
Correct.
So it depends on what you want the dog for.
Correct. And, unless you want a chihuahua it's just going to make noise.
In this case, I must ask, is the quality of our Tobago dog fit for top dog fit for purpose?
I do think so.
Well, you see, and to be honest, I was just researching it there this week.
Yeah.
Because it really, the first time I'm hearing the phrase.
I had it too and had to find it, yeah.
Mark Twain is saying here that is the size of the fight in the dog.
Wow.
So Mark Twain is giving it a different twist.
Correct.
And he's saying you might have a medium-sized dog in the politics.
Yeah.
And we're not saying metaphorically, it is the size of Farley, the fight in Farley.
And that is what I'm...
in the kennel.
That is why I'm asking.
So
is our top dog here fit for purpose?
Well, so we're seeing, even though in terms of position in the country, that we've seen Farley is giving Rowley a fight. The kennel is the country here. Let's say Tobago, because you remember Farley tell him, when you see you reach Gillingham Street, the four corners of Gillingham Street, there's where your authority ends in a Rowley.
Gillingham
Street, right, that is where the assembly begins. Where
the chamber?
Where ideal letter used to be, right? Gillingham Street begins at the junction there from Main Street.
There?
No, as you're coming from Main Street, you turn left into the assembly, that's Gillingham Street.
Okay, right.
So
it is swing up by Brown Betty.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Right. So Farley's saying he's the top dog here. I might be a smaller dog than you, but the fight in me, I will kill you.
So
politically, a young dog as well.
Politically, you remember that phrase?
Yeah, politically. So we go back to the point Shane was making
about the quality.
The quality of the dog.
The quality of the dog.
Exactly.
Okay. So the Prime Minister released from his kennel. Right, that is it. My phone dead, as usual.
You want to borrow mine?
As usual. As usual. The Prime Minister released from his kennel some other dogs. Because you see, the Prime Minister is a strategist, and we must accept that.
Yeah.
Hate him or love him, the Prime Minister is a strategist. He have released, remember, he have said nothing about the THA. Every time he talk about Farley and the THA and the team in the THA, he talk about wanting to work with them because if they succeed,
Tobago
succeed. And if Tobago succeeds, the government succeeds. That is his narrative. But right after he say that, during he say that, before he say that, immediately after, while some state agency from his kennel is let loose upon the THA. And one such state agency is UDCOT. Now, it is my position, gentlemen, and I invite your comments on this, that UDCOT is a special purpose state company.
Yes.
UDCOT is not a private company owned by Noel Garcia. And the THA is a constitutional state institution.
Correct.
Just like the central government. And I don't know if UDCOT is so empowered to decide.
They're not subject, the assembly is not subject to the UDCOT.
UDCOT is subjected to those are my thoughts.
Yes,
because whether the THA as a state governing institution, a state, I want to qualify, what is it?
A state organism.
Put handle to the name?
Yeah.
I want to put proper handle to the name.
What is the government? I would argue is the government.
You remember there was
Tobago.
a woman that got married, it was in Calypso. And then somebody called, she, 1 foot Millie. She said, hey, catch yourself and know your place. And she showed them, she ring. She said, I'm a married woman. You know. She said, call Mrs. Williams. So I want to make sure I put, and she said, put handle to my name.
Well, my handle.
So I want to make sure I put handle to the THA. The THA is a constitutional state governing institution, just like the central government.
Correct.
And UDCOT is a special purpose company created to operate on the instructions and invitation of the THA or the central government.
Or collaboration.
Or in collaboration.
Yeah, but the law supports that view too, that the Tobago House of Assembly shall take all such steps and commit all such acts for the better performance of its duties.
Correct.
So any state agency or public body operating Tobago must abide by those things.
And so that is the spirit and intention of the law.
Right. So if I were to talk like you cut out a place.
Very out of
place. Not to be obeying and to be taking the instructions of the assembly or the relevant secretary. And we could surmise and conclude that UDCOT is playing, they're acting on the political master in Trinidad. You agree with me on that? I agree with that. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But it's not only UDCOT, but several of them.
To bring UDCOT to an end, I had reasons to construct an FY application to UDCOT. Producer.
Which one?
The UDCOT FY application. What?
Continue. Did you get it?
Yes, I sent it.
All right, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent it. There's the other one we didn't get. It's the other one we didn't get, but I sent it. Right. So I wrote an FY because it seemed to me UDCOT must make bare their minutes, their notes,
you have to tell people
their documentations, and so.
You're talking too high, you know.
You need to tell them
people want to know what FY mean. What kind of
It's the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
And it allows you, as a citizen, when you want to know anything going on in UDCOT, central government, a police station, the fire station, airport authority, division of education, division of finance, the chief secretary office.
Anything. So when you ask, you wasn't being bold-faced, right? You wasn't being bold-faced, right? Were you asking for this freedom of information about?
Well, let her bring it now.
Well, tell us.
Let her bring it. No, because I want to determine, because I have suspicions.
Right.
And I can't live with my suspicions. And none of the people on the streets I meet, they don't help me with my suspicions. Because when I walk on the street, I don't have the liberty of meeting highfalutin people.
So what
I meet the downtrodden,
So what
the mendicant,
so
the
in-
suffering, and they could only think and share their views according to their limits.
So what information you wanted?
One on the street told me, Max,
Right.
they say, Skippy, I hear you, the cut pull out. And by the way, let me be very clear. That have been settled in, this, what I'm going to say here, let me clear this up. This have been settled in the High Court action of Monilal and CPEP, where it's settled law that no state corporation or state agency cannot sue any citizen for any defamation.
Really?
That is settled law.
I didn't know that.
That is very, very settled law. Having said that, one woman told me, just Skippy, like you, the cut was only up here when PNM is in power, and now that Farley they take over, like they're running racket with them, you the cut gone. I said, I don't know, but I'll write them and ask them.
So that's the information you wanted?
That I want to confirm it.
Right.
One man tell me, Skippy, you the cut gone, dress so they wake up and gone, and I feel they're gone because like questions asking, you know, and we might have to get our next audit report in the UDCOT project. I say, I don't know, but I will write them and ask them.
So specifically what?
Well, we'll put it up.
That's the letter you're talking about?
Huh? Yeah, I'll send it for you.
Check again and send.
Phone dead.
Phone dead. I said 2 things here.
But what did you ask?
So yeah, that's what we want to find. What that information was. So you could, at least you could educate the public.
God.
You could add a bit.
Anyway, the producer said I did send it. I don't know. My mind telling me I did. What I asked you, the cut. When we have to take a break shortly, answer, right?
Yeah.
So when we take the break, I'll dash down to the car, get the charger, charge it up, and then we'll see it eventually before the show is ended. So what I asked you, the cut, is to provide to me.
All right.
And the law say they must do that in 21 days. So I don't want to tell them the days.
Right.
But provide to me all notes, minutes, documentations, reasonings, persons attending the meeting, all attendant notes and so, that is relative to arriving at the decision to withdraw from for UDCOT, withdrawing from the Tobago projects.
And those projects included what?
I know they included, well, all those projects are on the form, but right. I know they included a project somewhere in Goodwood. They included several projects like around the island. Yeah.
The stadium in Goodwood,
yeah.
That is one.
That is one.
Right.
Because
I really noticed the project
right, and there are several others.
And the one in
There
Bacalette.
are several others around. As soon as I get my phone charged, I don't know.
Because it was mysterious.
Anyway, anybody who knows,
was mysterious.
I'm sure people know me hearing my phone charge, I can say. As usual.
It's really mysterious. Yeah. And I wonder what was behind it. When I saw the stadium closed down in Goodwood, and there was never a security officer there.
And that woman who told me down the road.
And the one in the stadium.
That is because the racket was running and Farley, they're not running no racket with them, so they pull out. I know she.
Right.
And see me? Let me write you the cut and let them tell me why they pull out.
Because we need to know. The public needs to know why those projects are closed down.
Because it's wrong. UDCOT is out of their place. UDCOT was designed and created to support that institution like the THA. In other words, UDCOT is beholden to the THA, not the THA to UDCOT. We take the break and run away quickly. Shane, I realize you have said nothing. You have friends in UDCOT.
No, I'm taking it in.
You have friends in UDCOT. You have said a word.
I have no friends in UDCOT. I barely have friends in the PNM. I have no friends in the UNC.
I feel he got back with Kabla, you know.
He go answer me when we come back. Because when we come back. Folks, we go for the break. I go and run and get my phone quickly. And I'll make charger quickly, sorry.
Yeah, liven up the thing.
Live it up.
Yeah, go
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Live more.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, bull joil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Strawberry Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tapago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tapago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tapago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tapago's at your service.
Yes, folks, so we're back. And I know a lot of you looking forward to the audit report. We'll get into that. We will get into that, right? We will get into that. So we ended at the point, but I realized that my friends are shying away from the question.
What is which
No.
is what? I have said
Do we
to you-
have a top dog in Tobago fit for purpose?
the answer, and I answered you yes. I answered you yes.
And I
And
explained.
I will let
So
let
you
me,
think in politics just saying yes?
no, I'm gonna tell you now.
You have a PhD. You have a PhD.
The young
When you were writing your thesis and so,
yes, sir. I will tell you this.
you couldn't answer no question with yes.
I will tell you this.
Okay. Let me see. Dr. Shane, you must defend a thesis. Answer the question. Does Tobago have a top dog fit for purpose?
And the answer is yes. Legitimized, authorized, voted in, fairly achieved the office, and the man must be given the opportunity to let me choose
Do what
my
he
words
must
right. The man should be given the opportunity to ensure that his bite and his bark is
Respected.
dangerous enough to cause the
Where would
injury.
he get that? Who would sharpen his teeth?
He will sharpen his own teeth.
No, who would sharpen his teeth, Max?
The man teeth already sharp.
The man teeth is already sharp.
The man already still sharp.
And then I am being devil's advocate.
He is a young.
If his teeth is already sharpened, what do you think is the greatest Tobago need at this moment? And is that being attended to? I'm just being devil's advocate.
Well,
In the past, I think I have made the issue, I've raised the issue that there needed to be greater communication. I also said that there needed to be greater engagement, and I have seen that is happening. I also made the point about the Chief Secretary being smart about his strategy, and he went into the chamber and he made a statement that was damning, but it held water and has taken the government to task, so much so that they say thank God for local government elections.
In fact, I think the Chief Secretary is so strategic that his intervention may determine the results of the local government election. But we'll analyze that in a short bit.
And I'm thinking the launch on Sunday, he is going to make certain critical and strategic statements.
Well,
statements, you say the man is a strategic man, so I don't expect anything less on Sunday. And if we're talking about burying the PNM, right? How far you want to bury? 6 feet deep, 12 feet deep?
12 feet?
More than that.
As deep as an anchor can go, my
As deep as an anchor can go.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? No, that could be about 12 fathoms.
It could be 100 feet.
It could be 100 fathoms.
Yes.
We're talking fathoms of feet, right?
Let me tell you something.
But the Chief Secretary, I suspect,
as an anchor can go,
is going to make certain important statements on Sunday that are going to have important ramifications and consequences for the local government elections the next day, which is Monday coming.
Yeah,
I think the Chief Secretary has shown that, as you've said, strategic, he's smart.
Yeah. I have a view, gentlemen.
His teeth and fangs are sharpened.
Yes.
Shane?
Yes.
And I think that going forward, I think he is fully understood his role.
Of course he
And
does.
I think that he's settled in very nicely.
I agree with that.
The party's launch on Sunday can only do him better or best.
I will warn you all. I will warn you all that the launch of the party on Sunday is going to cause some serious rumblings within the Tobago space.
Right.
And there are going to be those that are going to talk about whether it is legal or illegal and all of that nonsense. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, but that's an all beaten story.
Of course, but
it's an all beaten story. No, he's talking about. No, he's saying that. I'll bring up to speed. He's saying that the launch of the TPP official launch of the TPP on Sunday will have certain kinds of consequences in the Tobago society.
No, he used the term illegal.
Meaning what the PNM is going to say and what they're not going to say
and
all of that.
They're going to say that the formation of the TPP is illegal because they were not voted in and
all
they
of
were
that.
not elected
No.
So what he's saying, what was said, right? And I'm asking,
right?
So in light of the constitutional guarantee to form and join political parties and express political views. Is it illegality?
No, but what we're saying is that that's a whole beaten story.
Okay,
so
they didn't vote for that.
So they'll attempt to make a politics out of
it. Correct. But it's a whole beaten story. We expect that to happen, and I pay no attention to it.
I have held the view that one of the chief secretary's inhibitions was not having a political party to operate from. And I respected.
I also did.
And I respected the fact that them old people that say he only knows, he squeeze his tongue not to use the agencies and the institution of the THA to make political comments. And he bite his tongue, he hold his nose until he could get the political vehicle to do political work. And hate him or love him, that ought to be respected. Eh?
And you also have to take into consideration that the general public in Tobago very much still respects and has a high level of regard for this administration and its work. And John Public out there will tell you that they are not prepared anytime soon, regardless of whether the TPP is formed, regardless of whether they, well, obviously, Max, you know this, the law doesn't allow for you to name your administration, to name the administration. They operate as an administration, right? So people need to understand out there that regardless of whether or not, whether the TPP is formed, the administration of the THA administration is simply known as the governing body and the administration.
It knows no party.
Correct.
Inside. Knows no party
and that's a very important point that has to be made so that people are informed when the narrative starts and the narrative to distract begins.
Right. So you know, what is this PNM mischievousness?
Yeah.
Or PNM mischief?
I call it PNM's desperation to regain relevance in the Tobago space, which they've lost.
Well, you all could call it what it was. I think the people doing their work.
Yeah, I agree.
At the end of the day, they're in the business of politics.
But we
they have to say, remember the people have supporters and members and so on.
But you remember,
they had to try.
So as much as the chief secretary, what is his name? Farley, as much as they galloping on and doing what they're doing, until then he's leading an organization that have members.
But unfortunately,
support. So the people have to say something.
Unfortunately, the relevance of Ansel Dennis is now under question as a result of the revelations of the chief secretary in the assembly a couple of weeks ago.
Well,
and the question that has to be asked is, what I am more concerned, I don't believe that Ansel Dennis is relevant in the political space as PNM political leader. He's just there as a figurehead. The person who has to consider what his political future is going to look like is Kelvon Morris.
You think so?
Because I think he's in trouble.
I think that Kelvon is weak like a. Weak. Well, let me make that point. He's weak like macaroni in a boil.
Well, when you did, he threw his hands up in the air and he said, "Let the chips fall away." That was the narrative right there.
Yeah, but Kelvon is the man. Having the power in his hands.
Yeah.
He said, "I don't want to be the leader.
Can you imagine?
I'll hand it back to a loser." So then you know, because Ansel lost the elections, right?
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have been the leader. I mean, it's PNM business, and better fed for us. If they lost the elections, Kelvon won his seat, he picked a councillor or somebody picked the councillor for him.
I didn't want to say it was my former party's business. Weren't you there with them?
That's a low blow, boy.
No, it's not.
It's a moment.
No.
Let me explain.
That's a low blow. You hit him right
No, it's not. No, Matt, it's not. The reason why I raise it is just to say, when fish come out of sea, I tell you, shark there.
A moment of convenience for a cause. But we can go back to the cause, because we don't want to bash anybody cause. But the point is,
I must admit,
we bashed the
the boy Morris was somebody I really admired. When he just started, I really admired him. And then I realized that he have now been arrested by everybody who lost. And then because he has the voice in the assembly, and then people speaking through him, he's not speaking for himself, and now he's coming across weird.
Weird. But the point I'm making.
That's my thoughts on him.
I take maybe a corroborating view, but perhaps even dissenting in terms of how you characterized it. Meaning, as a young man, you have a grand opportunity to express yourself, develop yourself, and be somebody of count in this society. You don't understand what power is. He doesn't understand political power, what it means. Because when he divests himself of the power and hands it to Ansel Dennis, who was lost, we now knew and understood the measure of the man.
No, I will go a step further, and I will say, I will use political jargon here, and I will say that is what is expected from a political neophyte.
So we have the wrong man if he's a neophyte.
He is at that point in time.
And is he still a neophyte?
No, well, he has had enough time to
how do you characterize him? A
Right
neophyte or amateur?
I will not. He's an amateur.
He's amateur.
He's amateur because at the point of winning the seat, he was a political neophyte. He was a newbie.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was the lone man to survive. The smart thing for anybody in his position, if he had known and been following his political history, would have been to taken up the role like Mr. Manning and said, I am the leader. I win the seat.
I am the leader.
I am the leader. I win the seat.
So how you characterize him?
Was it 86?
In the 86, yes.
So how you
right.
characterize him? I hear your view. Well, how you characterize
My
him?
view, having heard you guys, I've always held it, but as I say, somebody I like.
So I'm somebody who has potential.
Because when he started, Brick, you got it, all right. When he started, I used to see the deliberate effort to collaborate with the new assembly. I saw it, he was making the effort.
You feel so?
Yeah, he was sounding Tobago. And I think he got arrested in the process. Having said that, it's my view now.
You are saying arrested, and I will say constricted, because the snakes within the PNM has constricted.
Wrapped around his feet and tell him, we don't know that politics, you know.
Yeah.
But I think initially, where he may have fell down, and he must or ought to have known that the party will put their slimy hands on him and lift him out of his original self and replace him with
a shell.
A shell is when he put the girl, what's her name? I don't know.
Benoit?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the woman.
From my understanding of the young lady, and I must say, from my interactions with Miss Benoit, she has proven to be someone who is very respectful. She is very highly educated, and you know, I respect that. But I will say this, and I want to make it.
But she's an ABCDarian in politics.
But she's also a new.
Let me hear that term again.
Right?
ABCDarian.
ABCDarian.
Yeah,
ABCDarian. She hasn't even passed E.
Yeah.
Right.
In politics.
She's an ABCDarian
I will say this
in politics.
I will say this for the benefit of the general public. The reason why I said the snakes within the PNM is not that I'm being biased against the PNM, and I'm saying this to Tobago and to those listening. It's not that I'm being biased against Tobago, but when I analyze the response of Mr. Morris when after the bomb dropped within the assembly, and he realized that he was in the center of a conflict and a controversy that he was not he did not have any knowledge of.
And those are my thoughts exactly.
I felt very sorry for the individual.
One quick statement to qualify Kelvo.
Sure.
And you know, maybe he took it hard.
They ambushed him.
But no, not that. Here you have the assembly restructuring its divisions and putting things in place. And when a man's spouse is, as a consequence of review and recharging and rerouting and restructuring, is part of the persons who were sent home. I think that's where his beef is, you know. I think that hadn't it been for that, he would have, as you were saying, I didn't see it, but you all are saying he was cooperating and supporting Fali and they. But when initially,
reach out and be collaborate. That's how I view it.
When the spouse was sent home, not deliberately, because there was no need for the particular unit going forward when the assembly is putting things in place. So how you would have feel if it was your wife?
28.
Yeah, but answer the question. How if it was your wife, how would have feel?
Let me stop wasting time. That unit was a party group kind of politics do nothing when they
But I'm still
come
asking you if it was your,
wasting taxpayers'
but
money.
if it was
unit.
your,
So let me stop
not just
wasting time
asking
with
if it was your wife, how would I feel?
No, but he needs to. No,
come on. How you expect the man to feel? Is he wife?
But he needs to stop feeling. He needs to stop feeling.
Because you're holding a public office
and
now.
you need to stop feeling. What you should be focusing on is what is the next step for your political future, given what has been revealed about the people that are leading you.
But what I thought specifically, and I was going back to this, and I don't, let me just say this, guys. I don't know Miss Benoit, and I'm casting no aspersion on Miss Benoit. Miss Benoit, is she?
Miss Benoit.
Miss Benoit. No aspersion, madam.
Mrs. Benoit. She's Mrs.
Oh, she's Mrs.
Yes, she's Mrs.
I'm casting no aspersion on Mrs. Benoit. But I wish to say this. It would seem to me, if you already have a neophyte that won by default,
right,
then you want a strong political person to be there in the chamber with him. You want me to give you an example? Orville London and William McKenzie. Hate him, love him.
Okay, but
William McKenzie.
Let me ask you this.
William McKenzie.
Who would you have?
You might have been too young for William McKenzie.
No, I'm not.
William
But let me ask you this.
No, I'm going to make the point.
Who would you have put?
No, let me finish the point I was making first. William McKenzie was a dumb dog in Jerusalem. Right?
But he was a stalwart in Lambo.
Oh God, some people in Boko used to vote for him in a street and that
yeah,
make
but
him
the man
stalwart.
was a stalwart. I agree with you, Skippy. The man was a stalwart.
Well, let me put it this way.
Get Jackie. He was a stalwart.
Well, to you, I don't expect everybody to agree with me.
Like, it's the same way you would say, it's the same way you would say that Kamla Prasad Bissessa was the best prime minister in Trinidad.
He would say that.
You will say that. And I will say absolutely not.
But you got to take your links.
I ain't talking about William McKenzie.
He's a compliment or what?
No, I'm a Pandeite.
No.
I'm
a Pandeite.
Watch me. I am a Pandeite.
I'm a Pandeite.
Right?
But you are Pandeite. You are Kamla.
No.
I'm a Fali man.
No.
I'm with the top. I'm with the top dog.
No, here is my position. My position is, and it's kind of cheap. When I say, I'm going to say, no, it's a very cheap argument. I've heard it. I wanted to really get involved in Tobago and help the guys. I have no ambition. When you're in government, you don't want to come back home and get involved with THA. I mean, you think I could say, I was advisor to a prime minister. Anything I want to be now is Minister of National Security or Prime Minister itself. No, bro, let me make the point, Max.
I waited to see who you was with the PA one with.
So I'm saying that, so that's the point. We galloped too far. The point I am making is this, that Kelvon should have been paired with somebody of a little more political substance.
Like?
Yeah. Somebody of a particular ilk. Somebody of a stronger political ilk. That's what they're saying.
Answer the question. Who?
But he can't talk.
But that is a matter for the PNM.
No, but who?
But what they have produced is a matter for me. It's a matter for me to comment on.
No, you cannot run away. If you're making that suggestion, you have to tell me.
Well, I don't know where
no, it's strange.
You know why you can't say?
You know, it's strange. A man like he can't give a suggestion.
No. You're disappointed. Well, I'm sorry you feel disappointed. But what I do know, but what I do know is that everybody go encourage you to buy big belly horse, but they won't help you cut grass to feed it. And you're not getting me. You're not getting me to say, because based on how I've heard, that PNM women get appointments and job and selection there. I'm talking about Tobago here. You want me, Skippy, to go on the People TV and say that? I am sharing no comment about no who. I am sharing no comment about no who.
I am surprised. Yeah, he's ducking.
He ducking run.
No, Skippy, you're ducking.
No, so you're setting me up and we have 4 minutes. This is the wrap? We're taking a break. And then it's 4 more minutes? Are we taking a break, folks? Them fellas trying to set me up, trying to let me buy big belly horse, and they have no intention to help me cut grass to feed. So they want me to say which woman PNM should I pick to put next to Kelvon Morris, and everybody to be able to know what woman does have to do for PNM to pick them. Let me go for the break.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Right. So yes, folks, we're back, and we have been bantering, but it's all good. So to answer that question, so that we could move on to get back to the substantive topics. One is that since you all insist on her name, they should have put Tracy.
And where is she? Is she still a citizen of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? Because
So the last time I checked, her name was Tracy Davidson Celestine. My name is Barrington Skippy Thomas.
I hear she right here, but what you say she ducking?
Listen,
She ducking.
Tracy,
She ducking?
Tracy whereabouts.
But you figure she would have accepted the
Tracy
wait.
whereabouts is not important to me.
I want to know. So the larger question for me is whether Tracy would have accepted the council position.
But she could not have had.
Since that's your recommendation.
No, let them work that out, because the point I'm making is after saddling Kelvon with this inexperienced woman, the both of them, they come across, I see them, I look at them in the chamber, and they remind me of nothing but Twiddledum and Twiddledee.
But they remind me of certain persons who sit in the opposition as well in Trinidad.
Like who?
I ain't calling her name.
You would leave my friends alone, eh?
But your
You
friend,
would leave my friends alone.
your friends are very much like Twiddledum and Twiddledee too.
So, folks, so I want to put up the communication, the application I've sent to UDICOT. And then I want to do some housekeeping on some issues. And then we'll get into...
There's a document.
Right.
Right. So I have sent to the Urban Development Company of Trinidad, the UDICOT, oh God, I'm in number. Jesus Christ. Anyhow. So they must provide to me all minutes, memoranda, notes, and or other documents recording the decision of UDICOT to withdraw from all Tobago projects. Now,
how serious
or
is
leave
that?
it up forward. Huh?
How serious is that?
Because UDICOT is in violation of the law.
So you're saying,
I am a citizen of this country.
Yeah, so you're saying UDICOT should not have withdrawn.
You ask me the question,
Right.
I answer. I'm a citizen of this country, one. I am resident and have interest in Tobago, two.
Yeah.
And judicial review is a remedy available to me, like any other citizen, against UDICOT withdrawing from the projects. So they must provide I am already in angst with their decision to withdraw.
Right.
Because what did their withdrawal draw? Somebody said that word for me?
What did they withdraw?
What did their withdrawal cause?
Yeah.
Right. So that's
it caused some suffering.
Yes. A stymie of the project.
A stymie of the project. Let me deal with the specific sporting complex. I think some of them Goodwood side.
So you have one.
What did that cause? That could spill over now to youth idleness. Youth idleness spill over to crime.
Not only that, there's also going to be the narrative that Farley did not keep us.
That's the point I want to make.
Yeah, no, well, those are matters for Farley and his party to deal with politically.
Yeah.
Right.
But as a resident with interest on the island, UDICOT action is injurious to me.
Right.
It's injurious to my children.
Right.
It's injurious to my family. It's injurious to my interest to pull out on these projects, because remember, it was the development of these projects that were part of my consideration for becoming coming back to Tobago and remaining re-resident here. And when UDCOT pull out, UDCOT have pulled out, leaving stymied a significant portion of the consideration of.
So you're saying that it has resulted in
governance sabotage.
Yeah, that is what it is.
No, but what he's saying, the larger question for him, is that UDCOT's withdrawal has caused considerable societal decay.
But it's going to contribute to that.
It's timing the development of Goodwood and environment.
And the people,
Yeah, because I'm not looking at the politics at all.
No.
So when you look at the projects from which they withdrew,
the developmental project,
development of the island,
community development,
the community development,
sporting development,
the social development.
Correct.
You have to look at the infrastructural
development. And it's also a good, because the guys will be focusing on exercising, enjoying themselves, entertaining.
But because
stay away from a life of crime.
So the bigger picture now is this. Exactly, a life of crime is a terrible thing. So the bigger picture now is this. When UDCOT do that, and the injured Tobagos, because all those fact sets we identified are part of Tobago's development. So when and let me tell you something, whether you believe it or not, a mathematician or an economist could put a price and a cost to that injury.
Of course.
I have people working on that already.
No, that's true.
So when UDCOT does that, they must give reasons. So they must give reasons. And if I'm not satisfied with the reasons and my suspicions that I hold are confirmed by the bundle they sent to me, then I go to the court and I seek judicial review.
I have an uncanny feeling, skip you quickly, that when you talk about costing the damage UDCOT has placed on the society, that the injury, that you could sue them for damages in some form. Is that possible? You're the lawyer.
Well, judicial review is not only about damages. In fact,
it may be
the court attempt to shy away from damages
and go into reinstatement.
Yeah, because the ordinary remedies you have in judicial. Okay, so if you file a substantive action for the damages, fine. Right. But in judicial review, you have some specific damages,
which may end up being reinstatement.
And one may be to tell UDCOT,
go back to the
project.
Go and put on your clothes and head back to Tobago and finish those projects for me, please.
Yes.
And stop your political consideration, which is what it is.
Yes.
Because you see, it's not only UDCOT. Today's UDCOT. I want to tell you, but I don't have the document, and that is why I did not want to raise it. So I know I had two housekeeping issues. I don't know if most of you know Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago. I realize there are a lot of people from Trinidad and so listening. I don't know if you all know. But last week, one of my sons got shot and killed. So I was like really disoriented. And
when's one of your sons?
One of my child got shot and killed in Arima last week, Wednesday at 11:56 p.m. Yeah. In fact, I spent all...
You mean your battlefield son?
Yeah. I spent all morning at forensic and all of that this morning before I came to Tobago. But I gave commitment to come. That is why I came. And I just, I just didn't want to say I could not.
You throw me off there, man.
So the cameraman coming to Tobago and all of that. I'm sure you all will understand why I just were not in the place of mind to put that together. They say some words they don't use. Never, must, and so. Those words belong to God. But I have the report still. Allow me to deal with this issue with my child and thing. When that is settled by next week and so, then I'll start the work on what I promised to do to you, to visit all those imaginary projects, have it in record and videography, and we return right here and go through the audit report. I am really sorry, and I hope I haven't disappointed you on that. The other issue we could do this one quickly, gentlemen. Next week, I'll put up the documentation and so. I don't have it. Somebody was on their way to meet me. Time was just running out. I remember I used to come yesterday. This thing again. A woman tell me it doesn't look good every time I'm fixing it back. Well, I don't know what she want me to do. So, if I had come yesterday as planned, but I had to be at the Forensic Science Center this morning. If I had come yesterday as I had planned, then I would have had that documentation in my hand. Having said that, I could tell you, Champa Kojo said the sporting project in Blackrock, guys, needed EMA approval, and there was this big hue and cry for the need for the EMA and so.
Let me tell you something, as you said that.
Yeah.
I am very disappointed, and I take umbrage. I call myself an honorary Tobagonian because I have been treated very well by the people of Tobago, and my entry into the Tobagonian space and my commentary. But I take umbrage that the Member of Parliament for Tobago West, on the eve of an international event that is showcasing the beauty, the talent, the capabilities of the island of Tobago, that Shamfa Kojo would take the opportunity to turn, on the eve of the start of the Commonwealth Youth Games, will start a bacchanal about who didn't want to meet with she and how she struggled to. At the end of the day, that has a time, a place, a space, and the time for that is not now. The opportunity, if she was a true patriot of Tobago, she would have put aside political limitations and political biases, and she would have focused on what is in front of her, which is the showcasing of the talent and the beauty of Tobago.
What I found very strange with Miss Kojo, Miss
What me want to marry you? Want to marry you?
You hear me just say my son that?
Well, wait, why you want to find out?
Agonizing all kind of
you want to find out what is Miss or Mrs.?
No, agonizing and sad and depressed. Give me one reason to want to cut more burden. But the point I'm making is that we must wrap it now, guys. But I just find it strange that every time she's in Tobago, she's here with the Minister of Public Utilities.
Yeah.
Under whose remit is the EMA?
The Minister of Planning.
Yeah. So she's always here, the Public Utilities man.
Yeah.
And the operational part of the EMA, he has some remit. And I just find it strange that every time they make a visit, the EMA pops up. It's almost as if, you see, we're talking about using the agencies of state to terrorize.
We like to say that weaponized institution of state, and Shamfa's indulgence is a misplaced self-importance.
Of course.
I don't think that I don't think.
I think it's very calculated.
Calculated. But they weaponize them.
And notwithstanding you all, because I tell you all, I know they know TPP, I know they know PNM. I am a loyal and disciplined member of the United National Congress.
I want no part of that. Tobago, I am letting you all know I want no part of that.
So,
and the comment that says that there's a comment that linking you and me to Kamala. I have not had an interaction with the lady since almost 10 years ago.
Shane, we have to go to an end. And anybody linking you with Kamala,
they lie.
You have to view that person as a sad, illiterate person who has no idea about nothing. And we respond to that person. You have a PhD, you know.
Yes, but you listen, misrepresentation.
You think I'll have a PhD and responding to that?
Misrepresentation is a hell of a thing, you know. People love to misrepresent views.
So, folks, as we said, so let's reshape for next week. So, next week, this is what we'll do. By next week, this whole issue of the cremation, not burial of my son and so will take place. And I will start to refocus and we'll get the videos done and so. So, we'll get back now to auditing, because that is what we want to do. Audit the audit report.
Let me take the opportunity to
express
my condolences.
Yeah.
All right? Because murder
of anybody, especially a child. It is not an easy thing.
So please accept.
Yeah, mine as well.
Yeah, thank you guys. But so this is where we have to leave it. Have a good night. Hope you're not too disappointed, but I'm sure you understand the stresses I've been under. But next week we're gonna fix that, right? And before I go, in addition to myself, I don't foresee more time in how to talk. There are some people who always pretending they would help me and will do this and we'll get the work and I'll help you. And they're being deceitful. They're being very deceitful. They're not getting no information. They're helping with nothing and so. But I've started this show. And he that have started a good thing will see it through to the end. Good night.